So, can you introduce yourself, just what school you attend, what year you're in, and what's your major?
Yeah. I'm Suchi Patel. I'm a senior at Mississippi State, and I'm majoring in biomedical engineering on the pre-med track. So I also went to MSMS like my sister. Um, and yeah, so even though I went to MSMS, I did have help through that school applying to college, but I feel like my parents weren't the best at giving advice when applying to college. They were just happy I was going to college. Um, like they were proud of me, and uh, I guess it was kind of difficult applying by myself because I had no one else to ask besides my guidance counselors. Um, yeah.
Um, so like during your application process, or even like after your acceptance, was there ever a time where you felt like guilty leaving your parents or like your family behind?
Yes, I mainly, I guess, I felt like in a way I felt guilty for even just going and being as ambitious, unlike my parents. My dad was on the pre med track and he was about to be a doctor in his home country. Like he's really smart, he got a master's, but my mom didn't finish high school. So just going so far and having the option of like going to med school or being an engineer like with a degree, that wasn't possible for my dad. So I felt kind of guilty, like so I had to push myself to keep going like when times got tough because I knew that they wouldn't have the same opportunities I did.
What were some of your thoughts like during the application process?
Well, I did apply to a couple schools on the Common App while applying, and then I think in-state schools they don't require you to use the Common App if I remember correctly. So Mississippi State's process was pretty easy. It's just answering a few questions about yourself, essay questions, and submitting your transcript. But I think the Common App was much more difficult because it was very reflective and I had to really pull from my experiences. Um, when applying, like there are times where um, like I couldn't turn to my parents for like the stress I had when applying to schools. And like my peers who probably have parents that went through the same process. Yeah.
So, what were some of the thoughts whenever you received your acceptance letter?
Well, even though I didn't receive many, I've gone to like 15 schools and gone into like knowing where I'm going to go. And even then, two of two of the three places I got into were expensive. So that narrowed it down to Mississippi State because it was the most affordable option. But as soon as I got in, I immediately thought, how am I going to pay for this? So again, that's why Mississippi State was my choice. Um, but I was glad I had something that I was secure about after high school.
Okay. So the last question that I have is, what advice would you give to other first generation students?
This might be a lot, but I guess the first thing would be like to believe in yourself. Like I feel like a lot of us um, kind of downplay our accomplishments. Like even if we do well on a test or if we don't do well on a test, like we tend to beat ourselves up for it. Like if we do well, like we try to compare ourselves. Just applying to schools, like cast a wide net. Like looking back, I kind of wish I applied to a little bit more of like mid-tier schools and not like just like reach and like safety schools. Maybe I would have been at a different school, who knows? But that's that's a story for next time. But yeah, just applying broadly, apply for many scholarships. Like even if you think you won't get it, you never know. Like I won a $500 scholarship that I never thought I would get, especially coming from MSMS. Also, again, don't be afraid to reach out for help, especially from your like guidance counselors. I'm sure you've heard of it before, but yeah, just don't be afraid to reach out for help. And keep going even when it gets hard. Like there are times where you can take rest, but just know you're doing better and like your parents are proud of you no matter what you do.